beautiful Friday, the 8th of January in the year 2021. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special edition of the assignment program. I'm your host. My name is Andrew Mons. The past 2 months haven't been quite very good for our beloved country, Zambia. We've seen a number of issues go wrong, issues of police brutality, issues of increased number of COVID-19 cases, issues of the supply scandal involving honeybee and many other issues that have gone wrong, issues of corruption, issues of poverty also. Poverty has been on the rise for the past decade in our country, Zambia. The biggest question is, who is going to remove us out of this economic doldrum? My guest this evening is Lesley Chikuse, who took up the mantle as Republican Progressive Party leader following the demise of President James Lukuku on the 31st of October 2020. President Chikuse, good evening, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, comrade. Good evening, viewers. Thank you so much for this program. Happy New Year to the viewers, to all the comrades that are making this program possible. Thank you so much for all the work that is, the input that is being put up for this program.
Thank you so much. Those are joining the conversation on the Muvi TV Plus Bouquet, Channel 1. The Topstar decoder, Channel 104. You'll be able to come through and give us your contributions via the number that is scrolling down your TV screen. That is +26 0978594682. Yet those that are joining the conversation from across the continent of Africa, yours, our social media platforms, our handle on Facebook is Ask Muvi TV, YouTube is Ask Muvi TV. Get to those two particular platforms and give us your contributions. We continue discussing the Zambia that we want as we interrogate the state of governance. Let's begin off with the demise of President Lukuku and how the party has been, from there.
Yes, of course, we lost our great leader, President James Kasanda Lukuku, who died, of course, that is last month on the 31st, and we buried on the 3rd. It has been a struggle to rebuild and to ensure that we move on as a party without himself, being the vision carrier, being the leader that he was, a trainer, an inspiration to the party, and so forth. But I think that we had to meet as a party to look at the way forward. There were a lot of options that the political members of the party had to look at. But I think very importantly and very strongly, it was about to move forward and ensure that we keep up with his legacy. Of course, our constitution, fortunately, provides for such kind of a situation where when the president of a political party, which is the Republican Progressive Party, according to Article 5, Sub-Article 2, the Vice President takes over. So after a lot of consultation with the legal personnel, together with the executive, which is our PANACO, Party National Commission, we did arrive at the constitutional provision which guided us. And that is what sought, the installation or the inauguration of myself, who was at that time vice president of the party, take over the mantle. So from there, we have been doing the mobilization of the party, the restructuring of the party, going into provinces, into districts, to see how we can remobilize and re-energize the party, even after the demise of, our great leader. So it's been a struggle, but I think that the momentum is there. People are willing to move forward. They hope what President Lukuku stood for is well, ordained in the minds of the people, especially that when you look at the death of President Lukuku, a lot of Zambians came to mourn and appreciate what he lived for politically, but also what he lived for as a human being. So the Republican Progressive Party is moving on. The Republican Progressive is rebuilding, is building, mobilizing, and is part and parcel of the opposition movement in the Republic of Zambia.
Precisely my next question. At the time of his demise, President Lukuku was spokesperson of the opposition alliance. Does that entail that you are now spokesperson of the opposition since you took up the space that you once held. What is the current position in terms of?
Of course, that is a prayer of the party. I think that is what the party has been praying for, us as Republican Progressive Party, because that particular position was not only given to him as president. It was given to the party, which is the Republican Progressive Party, and naturally, we are hopeful that after, of course, a meeting and consultation and proper scrutiny, the position of spokesperson should be given back to the party.
Should it be a direct direct thing?
There is leadership. We have the chairperson of the alliance. We also have the leader of the alliance. We have comrades in the alliance. So as much as there is that core and that logic that the Republican Progressive Party needs, to take it up, there must be that confirmation. So we have not yet had that meeting or that confirmation. But however, we have continued from where our president had continued. So we have continued to speak for the opposition alliance, together speak for our party, just as the way the president had to do it, awaiting further direction and further engagement with our alliance partners.
I would also like to know the position and the current state of the opposition alliance from the time that president of NDC Chimbakambwili got arrested and all those issues and the demise of President Lukuku. There seemed to be a detach in terms of the coming together of the opposition alliance. We're not seeing you more often in the media, and what is the current position of the opposition alliance in terms of working together?
Yes, the opposition alliance is still very strong, still committed. We are communicating, strategizing quietly. When you are going for an election, when you are going for a battle, you don't begin to whistle every time you are having a strategic meeting. So we are having our smaller strategic meetings. But also, in a nutshell, every political party within the opposition alliance are also having their own internal democratic elections. You know that the UPND are supposed to be having their own internal elections. The NDC also are also organizing themselves at that level. But I think that the commitment, the engagement, the agreements of the opposition alliance have remained stronger. We have become more strong than ever. Our relationship is more binding. The bond has become stronger because we believe, in what we stand for, and we have become more focused on the fact that this opposition alliance is a people's alliance. It's got nothing to do with individual, benefits or greed or political party, but it is about representing the will of the people and what the people are expecting of a proper governance system, and how that can be actualized. So basically, we are operating smoothly. The communication is okay, and that really people must not despair when it comes to the unity of purpose. More political parties are engaging. I think you saw some of the political parties coming to join the opposition alliance and making endorsements for not only the opposition alliance but also for the leader Hakainde Hichilema in the opposition alliance. And more other political parties have shown a lot of interest to join, and of course they are joining the opposition alliance. So I think that the opposition alliance is very strong, and we are communicating.
Are we seeing a possibility of an electoral pact and fielding in one candidate ahead of the election?
Definitely. Definitely, that's the way to go. I think that's an open secret that the 2021 elections, the opposition alliance will field Hakainde Hichilema.
We seem resolved about Hakainde Hichilema.
It is resolved. I think that it
is. All of you seem resolved.
It is resolved that President Hakainde Hichilema is who the people want. you cannot be against the people. Doesn't matter your political ambitions, you cannot be against the people. This man has got what it takes. What we need now is a very strong leader. We need a leader that is going to instill discipline, that is going to ensure that there is discipline in the institutions of governance, that is going to ensure that he brings up policies that can actualize and be understood by the people and benefit every Zambian, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of a tribe, regardless of religion and so on. We need a straightforward leader. A hard Hakainde Hichilema is the leader that we need to be looking at as a person that can restore, that can bring back order in our country. We don't need playboys. We don't need people that are going to be there to give lukewarm leadership. People who cannot call a spade a spade. People that cannot tell a friend, here you have wronged my friend, you need to give space because I need to work for the people. You need such kind of leadership. That's the kind of leadership that we need, a strong leadership, comrade, where somebody can say, look, you are my friend, but I'm working for the people. I've got a job to do, so you must stay aside, because people are expecting the best from me. They elected me, I'm the president, and they're expecting the best from me. You have committed a crime, you must be arrested. You have done something that is unconstitutional, you must stay aside. You must go. So this is the kind of leadership, and as long as such kind of leadership is not given to the Zambian people, it will be very difficult to ignite confidence in the investors.
How would you describe his leadership in terms of unifying the members of the opposition? I'll give an example of, park leader Andy Ford Banda, who was part of the alliance, withdrew. Another leader is Sean Tembo of the Patriots for Economic Progress, who then also was spokesperson and withdrew, from the alliance, described the alliance as doesn't have a vision. The leader, HH, doesn't know where he's going. We have another leader in the name of Stephen Nyirenda of the National Restoration Party, also, who is agitative, about whether to stay in the alliance or not. How would you describe, the leadership of Hakainde Hichilema in terms of unifying members of the opposition alliance?
No, I think he has done his best. First and foremost, just to accept that we must work together as an opposition. You know that United Party for National Development, UPND, is a strong political party, and they have done a lot of work in their individual capacity as a party. They've done a lot of work. Even when you look at the 2016 elections, they did very well. If at all they lost that election, and I'm saying if at all they lost the election, the numbers are, we are talking about 100,000 and so on. That was the difference. President Hakainde has called on the opposition that we must work together. He worked with us, the Republican Progressive Party, genuinely so. And I must say and confess that really I don't understand the altercation that had ensued between park leader Comrade Antford Banda. Really, there was no problem, and I don't remember park leader Antford Banda having to say that he was coming out. I think there must have been an altercation between himself and the spokesperson at that time, Sean Tembo. But I think that there was no problem. You see, when you have a friendship, a relationship, you have to be patient, because you are different entities. You have to learn to understand each other, grasp each other, begin to have that cordial relationship, begin to so I think that for Antford Banda, I think he was into that. He was being patient. When you talk about Comrade Sean Tembo, I think for me, I don't know what to comment about him. I think that whatever he was talking about did not make sense for me, because he was talking about things that were not practical. He was rushing into things that were supposed to be discussed at a time when we have properly understood each other and when we had properly coordinated. So I think he was too much in a rush. but he did not properly examine himself, where he come from, what his political experience, what has his political, for example, he was in a hurry to talk about an electoral pact, to talk about standing in elections, and at a time when members of parliament were serving. You can imagine, you want to say that I'm giving you an example.
Yeah.
He wants to say that you want to stand in Mazabuka, for example, when there is Garinkombo, for example, and you want to say that I want to field a candidate. So how do you operate like that? And then you want to say, no, give me 20, I'm giving examples. I'll give me maybe 20 constituencies. You yourself has never even had a ward election. You have never even had a party election. You have never stood for an election, you yourself, but you are beginning to make extraordinary demands. Okay, I think that the alliance gave him a lot of respect. And me personally,
would I be correct if I say he was asking for extraordinary privileges that probably he doesn't even deserve?
He doesn't deserve them. That is the thing. He was asking for extraordinary demand that he did not deserve. Because I was looking at him. He's a newcomer. He has just come into the political scene. He's supposed to learn. Okay, when you talk about experience, you cannot match him with any of the political leaders. He should have learned. And then we are not saying that he did not supposed to make the demands. But the demands were supposed to be made at an opportune time. The negotiations, and let me not use the word demand. The negotiations were supposed to be made at an opportune time. To say, okay, now, this is where we are. Like this time around, perhaps maybe this could have been the right time. To say, okay, now, this is what is happening. In this particular ward, I have this councillor. This is his profile. He is interested in standing this. So, can he be considered? So the other political parties will also be able to say, okay, no, in fact, in that particular ward, we also have this. If it means taking in a committee to say, let's scrutinize them and give them an opportunity, then you can do that. Because you are nearing a time when Parliament is going to be dissolved, for example. The councils will be dissolved. So those things are practical. You get me? But also, even as you make demands, understanding the point that you are a smaller, smaller. We can be partners, in partnership, yes, but work done must be identified and recognized, comrade. So you can be logically, in the way you. So I think that, in a nutshell, I regret losing everybody. That the other person you talked about, Nyirenda. No, as for Steve Nyirenda, I think that he's a different person. The person that we were in an alliance with was Elias Chipimo. And I think that we were in a cordial relationship. When Steve Nyirenda came in, he decided to be ambitious. He has never at any time really refused that he's not in an alliance. But what he has said is that he wants to try and create a force. He has not departed from the core of an alliance. As I was saying, there are other opposition political parties outside the alliance working maybe indirectly with the alliance. So we have seen what we stood for. In the inception of the alliance, you remember how it was formed? It was because we were fighting issues to do with wasteful expenditure, the procurement of the fire trucks, the rule of law, and we have seen that even Steve Nyirenda has continued to fight that, especially except that he does not perhaps want to be part and parcel of maybe this opposition alliance, but he is fighting what we had stood for. So it is the political parties that we had started with, the alliance, have got a decision to make. Others can belong in the opposition alliance together with the electoral pact. Others can continue with what we had started and continue fighting our inception. So I think it's all good. It's all good.
The alliance now seems to be in a quagmire because, well, the strongest people that you had seem to be out of the race so far. For example, I think what we were hearing, news that one Comrade Chimba Kambwili would probably be the potential running mate to Hakainde Hichilema, now that he's got issues of the police and his issues are not yet clear, the alliance seems to be not in a very good space. We did see a screaming headline in the daily paper that you are currently, as the opposition alliance, looking for a Bemba running mate. How true are those allegations?
Those allegations are neither here nor there, comrade. Those allegations are neither here nor there. Chimbakambwili is very much in the alliance. Of course, he had legal issues. He was taken to, he was in custody, he was convicted, and he has appealed. And that is in line with the Constitution. And so he has appealed. So he's got the right to be heard, and he remains a free citizen until such a time that the matter is heard. So he is still got what it takes to become running mate. But I must put it across that the running mate, the issue of running mate, is the discretion of the president. The issue of the running mate is the discretion of the president.
How is it the discretion of the president? President Chikuse, you are in an opposition alliance.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And you need to ultimately agree on what terms and conditions you are supposed to operate by.
Exactly.
Obviously, when you get into an electoral pact, there will be issues of, among ourselves, who will be running mate. Am I wrong or right?
No. That's not how it works. It doesn't work like that.
How will it work now?
The position of running mate all the time is the discretion of the president. Okay? You know how the issues of running mate are. The president has to pick somebody who he can work with. We are not saying that Chimbakambwili is not a running mate, but it must be understood that Chimbakambwili, him being a running mate, if, for example, the president decides to pick him, of course the president can consult with the members of the alliance, but his decision is final. The issue is that there are not two powerhouses, one or two, three powerhouses here. The presidency is on President Hakainde Hichilema. The rest of us are alliance partners. But I can confess that, of course, Honorable Chimbakambwili is a strong, person who should be considered as running mate of the alliance. But it is not automatic. Just like myself, I cannot be vying for example, the running mate, because of course I know that there's a stronger person like Chimbakambwili, just like maybe. So we are there to say, okay, we have this person who should be considered, but the president has got his own way of validating. It's not a matter of just saying, for examle, we are not going to choose.
But again, my question, President Chikuse, is that I'm meant to believe that when you're into that alliance, relationship, your relationship has to be at pari passu. You have to be at equal standing. All of you have to be at equal standing when you get into that particular, arrangement that you're in. Am I wrong or right?
We are.
And you're at equal standing, all of you.
We are at equal standing, but we have a leader who is President Hakainde Hichilema. Okay? And I've told you that you were asking me a question that you seem to be resolved. Even President Chimbakambwili seems to be resolved. You are the one who was telling me that. And I'm telling you that, yes, we are resolved on the leader of the opposition alliance, who is Hakainde Hichilema. So he's going to give us the vision. He is the vision carrier. We are the members of that alliance. He's the vision carrier. So together, we are going to look at how we are going to govern and ensure that the issues that need to be addressed, the issues that people are bringing across.
When you say the vision carrier, what do you mean?
When you are a leader of a movement, or you are a leader of an entity, you carry the vision of that entity. You are getting the point. You carry the vision of that entity.
I'm meant to believe that NDC has got its own vision. Your party has got its own vision. and many other, opposition political parties that are under the alliance have got their own vision.
Exactly.
All right?
Yes.
My question is, how do you fit in? How do you fit your entire, I don't know how many political parties are present now. How do you ensure that you meet, at a certain point where all of you agree to the issues? But when you're going to tell me that, the vision carrier is Hakainde Hichilema and all of you are members, it is as if though you've been subdued into the UPND.
No, comrade. What you do is that you have manifestos.
Indeed.
Are you getting that? Then you look at the common goals of the political parties. The common goals, taking into consideration the immediate wants of the people, the long-term wants of the people, the issues that need to be addressed by the people. Because here you are not just talking about yourselves, you're also looking at, for example, what is the problem that we have now? We have the problem of non-utilization of resources. We are failing to utilize resources. So that is number one. What is the problem? Breakdown in the rule of law. What is the problem? We have the a problem with when it comes to the constitution-making process, for example. So what is the other problem? We have a problem when it comes to corruption, wasteful expenditure. So these goals make the commonality of what you begin.
Indeed.
So now you begin to say, so how are we going to deal with corruption? Okay? How are we going to deal with corruption? First, what is the problem? Why is the current regime involved or is so deep in corruption? Then you begin to understand, no, in this particular issue, it's mere greed. It's carelessness. It's playfulness. Because then you begin to realize, is it so hard for them not to be corrupt? Is it something? Are there things that are compelling them to be corrupt? Then you realize, no, these people, in fact, even when they are corrupt, how are they using the money? Wasteful expenditure, individual what in bank accounts, for example. Then you realize, oh, so this issue has to be handled like this. We have to instill discipline. We have to put in such a what. So you are agreeing. The economy, for example. What is the biggest problem with the economy? Here you say, no, maybe the problem with the mines. So which angle are we taking? Is this an angle of Zambianization? Are we going to continue with the privatization? Are we going to? So you are agreeing. Where is the problem? What are we going to do? The minerals, for example. What is the biggest problem? No, the biggest problem is that, for example, gold in Lesley was stolen. There was no proper security. So what are we going to do? How are we going to ensure that the Zambian people benefit from these resources? So you agree on that.
But did you agree that you're not answering my question, President Chikuse?
Yes.
Because you agree, right?
No. I'm answering your...
Because I think for me, how it's like you're escorting the UPND in these elections. This is how it sounds to me.
I'm telling you that there is a leader. Okay? We have chosen the leader of the alliance.
You've already chosen the leader.
Yes. The leader is Hakainde Hichilema. Then the alliance running mate will be chosen by the president in liaison with the stakeholders who are the alliance partners. But remember, this country is not only run by politicians. We've got you, the media. We've got the civil society. We've got the church. We've got everybody. So we must not just zero it in to say that decisions are only going to be made by... And when we talk about an alliance, we are not saying that this alliance is only for smaller political parties. This alliance is a people's alliance. I've told you that people are talking. People are communicating. Chimba Kambwili is, in my opinion, that is now my opinion, is my favorite. Okay, I can say that he is my favorite to be the running mate of President Hakainde Hichilema in that alliance. But I don't know whether he is the favorite for President Hakainde Hichilema. Are you getting the point? So what we are saying is that the position of running mate, vice president, is the discretion of the president. Period.
What impact, fair enough answer, what impact do you think your party is making to this synergy of political parties? What impact is your party making, to the opposition alliance?
Very huge impact. Very, very, very huge impact. And that is why us as Republican Progressive Party were given the position of spokesperson, because we are working very closely with the grassroots. We understand grassroots politics very well, looking at our background. When you look at my background, for example, first background of my former president, President Lukuku. He was, of course, provincial chairperson. I'm talking about maybe earliest, before others.
But maybe before we digress to those other issues that you're bringing on the table, let me maybe understand, what is the current membership of your party?
It is in every province of this country. In every province of this country, it is there. The Republican Progressive Party.
Are you able to add numbers to that?
Yes, we are. Of course, we are more than maybe 3 million, more than 3 million, 3 million members. I'm talking about members that can also be able to vote.
That is across the country.
More than 3 million.
President Chikuse, if you have got more than 3 million members across the country, you should be, influencing the largest population in our country, in terms of, of your voice.
Comrade, you have seen how we have operated as a party. You have seen the amount of support that we have as Republican Progressive Party. You have seen how we have changed when we speak, how we have been heard, not only by our fellow opposition, including the ruling party themselves, how they have, how the Zambian people have seen relevance in whatever we say, how we have moved all over the country and try and communicate, sensitize, the public, the members on a lot of national issues. Look at the constitutional making process, how we went in all the provinces, going there and sensitizing the people about the Bill 10 and why it needed not, to be supported. So, and we saw it not being supported. So there is a lot of work that we have done. Our base, in terms of numbers, is
it's more than 3 million.
It's more than 3 million, comrade. More than 3 million.
Well, you should perhaps maybe just go as a political party, in the elections this coming August, because I think this is a good number to win an election, for yourselves as RPP. I'm meant to believe so. 3 million, over 3 million is a huge number, for it to win you an election. But let's get to other issues that are of great importance.
The fact that we have decided to enter into an alliance with other partners, including the UPND, does not mean that the Republican Progressive Party cannot win an election. You must understand. The fact that we have decided to move in this directive does not mean that the RPP cannot win an election. We want to maximize, and we don't want to leave any stone unturned, because if we give the Patriotic Front another 5 years, comrade, the recklessness that is there, the wasteful expenditure, that is the failure to care for the citizen. You can imagine, comrade, you just decide to distribute fake material.
We'll get to those issues later.
So we are there because we need to unite. And there is commonality in the problems and even solutions that we have. I want to tell you, comrade, that even if you look at the many manifestos that political parties have, they are not very different. Perhaps even when you look at carefully look at the manifesto of the Patriotic Front itself, the issues that need to be dealt with in this country are well known. Experts have come on board every day. They are on board telling us what needs to be done. Political parties, because most of these political parties are capitalists, and the vision on how it should be done, the problems have already been identified. The groups, in terms of the women, what is supposed to happen is well known. Even you, comrade, where you are there, you know. Even the solutions, you have them. What we don't have is political will. We don't have the political will, the discipline, the love, the commitment that a leader needs to try and upgrade, to look at the bigger picture of making Zambia a great country, and not making his, I don't know whether it's his bedroom or a kitchen, the most expensive. So that is the problem that we are having, comrade.
It's already good you've
Yes.
dived into
so
the issues.
Why am I saying that? The unity of purpose is a unity to say, look, guys, we have a country to protect. Our other countries, Ethiopia, we were laughing at Ethiopia. Just a few years ago, we were laughing at Ethiopia. Today, Ethiopia is doing better than us. Look at Somalia. They are doing much better than us. Look at what we have. We have gold. We have manganese. We have copper. We have the good soils. We have everything. Where are we going? We have Mukula. Why are we not utilizing these resources? We've had industries. We had a rail system, a proper rail system that we can utilize. These things are not. So when you begin to think like that, it doesn't need you to be alone. Zambians are not looking at an individual. They are not looking at a Superman. They are looking at a team that is going to ensure and bring hope, utilize the resources, create employment, create wealth, bring back the confidence from the bondholders, from our business partners, ignite the business environment, make it more conducive again, restore the rule of law. They are looking for that. These are not things that are not in other people's manifestos. If you went into the PF manifesto, you find that those things are still there, but are they doing it? They are not. There is no political will. There is lukewarm leadership, weak leadership, comrade. So that's why we are saying it is easy for people to unite and bring order, restore order, because the problems have already been identified. What we need is willpower. What we need is discipline. What we need is momentum to make Zambia a better country.
I think we've had some of those very good rhetoric political statements, not only from you, President Chikuse. We did hear them from Mwanawasa, Levi Mwanawasa, of the great potential this country has, and just a small ignition would turn this country upside down. We did hear them from Rupia Banda. We did hear them from Chilua. We did hear them from Sata. We did hear them from His Excellency the President, the current President, Edgar Lungu. It's like you've got the same template of what to say. It's like all of you are given the same booklet of what to say when it's nearing an election. Cool. Once you take up leadership positions, we don't get to see things that you talk about. Is it that...
No, but you
My question hasn't been asked, President Chikuse. Is it true that there's immense potential for this country to be turned upside down? Is it true that we've got manganese that is in great numbers? Is it true that we've got the gold? Is it true that we've got all these things that you talk about? Why don't we see them when these leaders are elected into office?
Comrade, those leaders that you have mentioned can be rated. And if you rate them, you are not going to give them the same rating. When you talk about performance rating, you cannot give them the same performance rating based on their commitment and dedication to a national duty, you can't give them the same rating. Personally, I worked very closely with President Mwanawasa, very closely. I understood his vision. I understood what he stood for. I understood his love for the country. And it was easy to tell that he had the Zambia at heart. It was very easy. And we saw the results of that. The dollar was at 5 kwacha, 1 digit, compared to the compared to the kwacha. Milli meal was at 35 kwacha. Sugar was 5 kwacha, 15 ngwe. We were debt free. We had a lot of all this infrastructure that the PF,
but yet the poverty levels and employment levels still remained. We didn't still see the trickling down.
No. But there was
economic,
there was improvement, comrade. There was improvement. People were able to go outside the country. They go and
the question again, maybe you could answer it properly, President Chikuse, is that look, it seems as if though you've got a place that you politicians know to yourselves that once I'm elected into office, I'm going to go to this place and ensure that I grab all these resources that this country has to turn this country upside down. And that is what it seemed like. When you talk, all of you talk very nicely, very convincingly, that look, there could be a place, maybe there's a place where, you will just go grab these things they're talking about and change this country upside down. And you spoke about one very important and critical issue, that it is lack of political will. But I don't agree totally. Maybe if you say it's lack of vision and lack of leadership, I would agree, because how is it lack of political will when I know that once I grab that gold, it will be able to turn the fortunes of this country to unprecedented levels? I think political will then will be,
Comrade, God has been very good to us. The Almighty God has been very good to us. Even in the problems that we have had, reckless borrowing, unexplained expenditure, wasteful expenditure, God still used his men to discover God in Lesley. I'm giving you just one example. That God in Lesley was discovered by ordinary people, manna from heaven. Here there is gold. This is the most expensive asset, mineral, that we have. One of the most expensive. If you sell this gold, you are able to pay your debt. Or if you industrialize, for example, and create wealth using this gold, or bring in an investor to invest, you are going to create employment, you are going to create wealth, you are going to earn foreign exchange, you are going to create employment. This is your God. It is here. It is here. This is where the God is. Some of those citizens even managed to collect something which they went to sell, of course, at a cheaper price. What did we see the government do? That's a political will. Political will. Government came, sent soldiers to go and man the whole area of God, the whole area of wealth, comrade, the whole area of money. I'm answering your question. You were saying, Mr. Chikuse, it seems there is money. I'm telling you, that was money. That was money sent by God, showing you that I did not just bring you on earth. I brought you on earth with the resources. What was the next thing that happened? It was quiet. We don't know, somehow the soldiers moved out. The next thing that was heard was President Edgar Lungu crying to the public. Ukunabeba God you. Nabeba sana God. The police have let me down. The police have let me down. God is being stolen in Northwestern Province. We heard now arrest. There is a Kungo, a provincial chairperson for the Patriotic Front, arrested. The entire committee of the Northwestern Province Patriotic Front arrested and suspended. We saw We had bags of, what do you call it, gold found at the police station, bags of gold, people stealing, intermarriages. We had the chief complaining that these people who are coming to steal gold have gone further to impregnate our people. Early marriages. That is what happened. Those are in public domain. Chiefs complaining. They are coming, they are selling gold, they are having smaller money, and they are impregnating and marrying off our small children. It was there in Northwestern Province. President Lungu complaining. Okay? So now the question that you are asking me is that, is there money? Is there somewhere? Yes, there is, comrade. There is land. Land which God has prepared for us to keep his people. We have gold. Gold which God has kept for us to keep his people. Every area that has been created has got its own geographical, its own economic, its own weather patterns, geographical, and so these things are there. And you have rightly said it, comrade. It's political will. We had Mukula. Was it in Germany where we went to hear that there is a Mukula truck, I don't know whether it was trucks, that have been loaded, and the owner, the person who has loaded those trucks, are not there. We are hearing every day how much Mukula is worth. Have you ever been told that from the Mukula trees, this is how much worth of income, of revenue that Zambia has paid? We have nothing. It is today, when now we are nearing the elections, because we are remaining with 4 months before the dissolution of parliament, when the governor is now showing us a heap of gold, that now we have a heap of gold. You saw the governor showing us, I don't know whether it was at the Ministry of Finance, a heap of gold. It is today. Now, what has been happening all this time?
But
when the bondholders were asking.
Yeah, but maybe President Chikuse, just before we can get to another critical issue, just on the natural resources, how do you intend, when you form government as an opposition alliance, to ensure that all these resources that God has given us, benefit the people of Zambia and are used to the transformation of this republic?
First and foremost, we need to sensitize the people and bring them to perspective about the value of the resources. It is important that the Zambian people know the value of the resources that they have. It is not fair that only a few know the value of, for example, Mukula. I don't know whether it's a heap of Mukula or is it a truck. Zambian people must understand. It is not fair that Zambian people do not know the value of the gold. The Zambian people, it is not fair that investors do not give, publicly the returns that they make or the profits that they make from the mines. The Zambian people must understand to say we have these resources and these resources are valuable. Then now you begin to decide. So which route are we going to take? Are we going to allow the Zambians to operate businesses and run these businesses using this? And what are we going to do? What are we giving them? Is it the equipment? Is it the land? Is it the machinery? Is it the loans? How are we going to ensure that we supervise, we monitor, we ensure that there's maximization? So you have understood. First, they know they've got the value. They know that these things are value. Who knows? If I tell you, you just hear that, even myself maybe. I just hear that there is a Mukula. And that when you have Mukula, the Chinese are buying Mukula, and people are selling Mukula, well-known people. We don't want to be malicious. Who is selling Mukula? You know. The Zambian people know who is selling Mukula. You need to have a surname of Lungu to sell Mukula. So, who knows how much that Mukula is worth? No one. But we are just hearing, no, they are selling. Now, but saying that they are trucks,
They have gone, no one knows. Who knows how much that gold, because even when the governor was showing us gold, was it yesterday? We saw it, of course, on TV. They are telling us that we've got now this gold, and they were showing it was using that. They could not disclose the value of the gold. They disclosed the gold, yes, fine. Now you have identified that there is this material and now it is in gold, but they could not disclose the value. So how do you expect Zambians to be enlightened, to want to invest on something you're not sensitizing them about their value? You get the point. So you must be able to tell, in this area, for example, in Luangwa, we have gold. In this area, we have manganese. This is the value. And these, so when you are talking about citizen empowerment, when you are giving these proposals, Zambians must be able to give proposals that are in correspondence with the resources that are there, that have been advertised, that have been sensitized to its people. Not a situation where you are just talking about resources you have already given to the Chinese and they are selling, they are doing, there's no foreign exchange. How do you expect a Zambian youth who is got money? You must understand also, comrade, that there is no person. The God that we serve is a fair God. There is no person that will never have an opportunity to prosper. God gives every person an opportunity. But sometimes the reason why opportunities fall away is that you get an opportunity today, right now. You are given, I'm just giving you an example, 3 billion, comrade. What do you do with it? What do you do with it? You start rounding up at one place, comrade. One place, around a fee. By the time you are realizing, the money is quashed. The reason is that the environment has not been created. Information, business information is not there. Utilization of the resources where they are, how people can invest, how people can gain after investment. The information is not there. So Zambians don't know what to do even when they have an opportunity to invest. And yet the resources are there, but their information is being kept to a few people. So the first thing that we need to do is to give information, to be transparent in the distribution, equitable distribution of resources. We must be very transparent so that others can utilize the resources by themselves running them. Others can benefit from the work or employment that has been created through the utilization of resources.
Well, fair enough answer. Let's get to how you describe the current state of the current democratic space as we head to the elections, as the opposition. How do you describe the space we're living in ahead of the elections?
It is chaotic, comrade. It is chaotic.
How so?
The current governance system is such that the Patriotic Front, which is the governing party, is in unknown fear. They are in unknown fear. They are not wanting to see other players participate effectively in the political dispensation of this country. They don't want another person to sell his manifesto. They want to be the only ones seen. Worse off, it was going to be better if they knew what to do. So we have got people who don't know, literally don't know what to do, comrade, who just want to run the governance on their own. It is unfortunate. They have decided to use the institutions. They've decided to use the police. They've decided to try and use, political cadres to threaten, to intimidate other political players who have got the right to participate in the political dispensation. But what has started happening now
is that these institutions have realized that they've got a job to do. We have seen the landmark decision that was made by the Constitutional Court over the ministers that had overstayed. That decision showed that you can control or interfere with an institution one time, but you cannot. The police, the parliament, Bill 10, you saw how members of the Patriotic Front decided to vote against the Bill 10. And now the PF now have seen and realized that this intimidation, this interference of these institutions, we cannot have it for a very long time. What have they decided doing? They've now resorted to using clear-cut issue of using the police shooting citizens, creating an atmosphere which is an atmosphere of intimidation so that people cannot be able to make decisions. Look at the by-elections in Maramba, for example. 19% of the voters went to vote. So that is the prayer of the Patriotic Front. They've realized that if we are going to embark on the courts will disappoint us. Because at a particular time, these courts will realize that they ought to be. So how is the political situation? The political situation at the moment is that of serious intolerance.
Are you seeing any wind of change ahead of these elections?
Comrade, why are they not allowing HH to go to Copperbelt? If there is no wind of change, why is it that even when President Lungu is supposed to go for another holiday? Because President Lungu is good at holidays.
What is your interpretation?
Why, even when he's supposed to go for another holiday?
Yeah. What is your interpretation
the
of
the political opponent has got a funeral, a death of a political party member, a well-known member, and he has to go for a funeral. You divert all your programs to go and ensure that Hakainde Hichilema does not land in the Copper Belt. Because you don't want the number of crowds of people that want to go and receive and see Hakainde Hichilema and assure him that we are going to vote for you. You don't want to see that. You don't want. You are embarrassed to see that the political atmosphere has changed.
Yeah,
that Copper Belt.
It's interesting, really, if you say that,
yes.
President Chikuse, because just last year, not so long ago, last year, we did have an unprecedented number of by-elections where we did see the opposition, largest opposition, get to lose many of them. All right, and surprisingly, most of those council by-elections, were necessitated by defections from the UPND, and to top that, they lost. Just 2 days ago, the PF won 3 out of 4 by-elections. When you speak about wind of change, from what perspective, really? The UPND, your alliance partners, continue to lose by-elections.
So why are they panicking? You must ask your question. If they are winning, they won in the Copper Belt the way you are saying it. They've won 3 in why are they still panicking? Why can't they allow HH to land in the Copper Belt? Comrade, don't be cheated. Zambian people are fed up, they are tired. They are waiting for 2021 to kick out the PF. They are not even they know. We have heard from even here in Lusaka.
But what is your interpretation of this by-election? You don't answer. What is your interpretation of the number of losses that the UPA?
The interpretation is simple, comrade. The money that was supposed to be paid to the bondholders is being used to bribe citizens.
What makes you think they will not use the same strategy?
They won't use the same strategy. The Zambian citizens are now realizing to say, even if we change a councillor, the government, the central government, continues to be for the Patriotic Front. The people want uniform change. They want to change from head of state, the entire system.
That is what you're banking on, really.
That is what, no, that's not what I'm banking. That's what the people are saying. That's what the people want. That's why HH can't land in Copper Belt. Because the Zambian people, I'm telling you that, look at the people, they don't even care. They're remaining with 3 months, 4 months before government is, before the parliament is dissolved. So they change a councillor. The councillor will do what? We have a member of parliament in Matero, who is complaining that I have failed because the Patriotic Front have not been able.
You need to be very realistic, President Chikuse, because from how you're making your submissions, it seems as if the by-elections don't matter. If the by-elections don't matter, the UPND, who is your alliance partner, wouldn't have been participating in these by-elections. They matter the most. Why? Because why do they participate? It's because they matter. The
by-elections, they matter. If the level playing field is okay, and
but if you're going to wait for the field to be leveled, will that happen really?
Comrade, I'm telling you that when you look at these elections that we had, there was serious bribery. Okay, people literally buying votes.
You've been crying foul. You and the UPND have been crying foul. But very important, as you give your closing remarks, I want you to paint for us the picture of the Zambia that you've been dreaming of as the alliance, opposition alliance, and as well as you Arab people. What kind of a Zambia do you promise the Zambian people after the elections in August of 12th? What kind of a Zambia you promise the Zambian people?
Yes, the Zambia that the Republican Progressive Party is looking forward to is a Zambia where there is equal distribution of wealth, equal opportunities for all, where there is proper talent identification, where there is proper opportunities in terms of identification of what people can do. A Zambia where certain things, because of proper utilization of resources, are free for the citizens to enjoy. We want to see a Zambia where there are a lot of entitlements. Zambians are entitled to certain key assets or key resources of this country. Number 1, land. Number 2, employment. Number 3, we want to see that there is free education in this country. And we don't want to be that kind of a government who should be complaining about money, because money is supposed to be there. We want to see a Zambia that can become a mirror to the outside world when it comes to business relationships. We want to bring back confidence to the IMF that they must come back and do business with us, because now we have a disciplined regime, a disciplined leader. We want a political environment where politicians participate favorably, where competition is allowed, where a political party can go and meet its people, give their manifestos, give their flyers, and compete favorably. We want to create an atmosphere. And I want to state, as the new chairperson for the presidential summit, I shall be engaging other stakeholders so that we have an opportunity to engage into dialogue and ensure that what has failed in terms of violence, what has caused the violence, we must be able to sit down to ensure that we have an atmosphere where we do not continue to lose lives of Zambians because of politics. We want to see a Zambia where the priority is national development, national unity, unlike prioritizing basic politics. That is the Zambia that we want to see.
Republican Progressive Party President Lesley Chikuse, thank you so much for having made time to appear on the assignment.
Thank you so much, comrade. Thank you.
Well, the Zambian people, you've heard it for yourself. You've heard the Zambia that the opposition alliance, collectively with Republican Progressive Party, have in store for you once you elect them in power in August this year. My name is Andrew Mwansa. Thank you so much to my producer, Mavuto Piri, and my co-producer, Innocent Piri. For now, good night, and God bless Zambia.